The hour is upon us, good people. And yeah, so we're here. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. I know there's always like a delay, like I'm watching
Hour
it on
is
my
upon
phone.
us, good people.
Obviously, I don't want to hear it, but I want to, yeah, to see what you guys see. So here we are. A few things. A few things. I'm excited. It's been a spring, right? Can you believe that it's May? And we should be excited that it's May because if it's May, that means that the
I'm
summer
excited.
is almost here. I shouldn't do that. So let me not do that. Uh yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I like being on YouTube. I like that sometimes people find me and then they comment and things of that nature. So I'm excited to at least chit chat with you guys for a bit. All right, if you don't mind. Fair enough, fair enough. Lots on my mind. Let me start there. Lots on my mind because of the time of year. May 1st has come and gone. And that is critical because I spent the last, I don't know, month and change really focusing on my class of 2026. Congratulations. Let me start there. Let's celebrate the class of 2026 and their parents for surviving or thriving the college admissions process. We have had tremendous success with strategic admissions advice. No one bats 1,000. We have a couple of families that I wish they would have had some different choices, but I don't think that our advice was never not shared with them. And I think that's important to remember that, yes, we want the best for everyone, but we also understand that we don't make decisions as strategic admissions advice. We help families to navigate the process and share with them all that we know. So, all that said, I want to make sure that we start by celebrating the class of 2026 and getting ready for the class of 2027. I'm going to do a webinar later this month, so please stay tuned for that. I'll make an announcement probably the third week of May. Still gathering data, wait lists are moving, so I want to make sure that I have a little bit more data. But I want to be clear about two things before we get into the lesson. Today's lesson is about what junior class, sophomore class, what your school counselor should be doing for you. And I want that to be the focus of our conversation. But I need you to know that there is a need for parents who are watching this now to go into this process with your child, understanding that the safety schools in which you're applying need to be strongly considered. I repeat, the safety schools to which you're applying need to be strongly considered. Um, if you've been following me for a while, you know that there's a framework that we live by. Cost, location, major, and career. And I think that there is still too many families that say, you know what, we want this school, and if we don't get this school, then we'll take that school. But that take school probably won't take you either. No offense. It's just the nature of the beast. And too many families go into this process, talk about selective college admissions, of course, without thinking about the foundational schools, right? Once upon a time, those of us who are Generation X, we called foundational schools safety schools. And while those are awesome universities and great places, they're usually not what you aspired your kid to go to when you first started high school, when they first started high school, or we started educating them at some private school way back when. All that said, I need families to readjust their lens, their gaze around this process, and really, really expect yes, I'm saying it, to make safety schools, foundational schools, an option, whether that's based on cost, whether that's based on location, whether that's based on a variety of factors. Do not go into this process saying if my kid doesn't get into a top 50 school as per US News and World Report rankings, that this process was a failure. So I am imploring you, parents, to be excited about your kids' process. I know it's a lot of confusion. There's A lot of misleading information. I aim to try to give you the best that I got, but I do need you as a family before you seek any advice from a school counselor, we're going to get to them in a second, or from the, college admission expert, that you as a family understand what's important to you and understand the nature of this process may expect you as a family to land at a school that may not have been one of their first choices. And that's okay. I'm not trying to be discouraging. I'm not trying to say don't aim high. I'm saying the nature of the beast demands that you readjust your understanding of the process, that you readjust your understanding of what you think your kid deserves. Colleges don't know your kids. They're not going to just admit them for admitting them sake. Um, I need you as families to understand how critical it is to not just like the foundational schools, but make them real options. And those can be state, universities. If you don't want your kid to stay in your state, then maybe apply to a school that has a 65% admit rate out of state. But if you think that the small Ivy League, New England, Southeast, or California schools are for everyone, they're not, and they're not admitting everyone. So I need you to understand. So I've gone on my rant. I really want to make sure that I take a deep dive into the class of 2027, get you guys ready. I'm fired up for you. I got some notes here I want to pull up. But yes, I'm excited for our class of 2026 kids. I think you guys did an excellent job. But you have a variety of options. Options that you may not have thought previously, but you're going to school and oftentimes you're getting money to go. So I'm not complaining for you. In this day and age, price over prestige, cost, location, major career, and I think that needs to be the primary force in this process. So, all right. I want to today talk about something that a lot of you always know I'm going to be very, very frank about and be very clear that even if it's, dare I say, adversarial, I'm always going to tell you the truth. Your school counselor likes their job. Your school counselor knows the schools in which historically kids from your school have gone to, and your school counselor is probably stretched, probably has too many kids and they can kind of monitor one by one. And that's fine. There's a lot of ways to communicate with large groups, but there's certain things that I need you as the parent. Parents, I hope you're watching this. Kids, if you're watching this, so be it, can connect with your parents. I need you to understand how this process works, and I need you to get your school counselor to give you certain information. So there's a timeline, right? The last post that we had was, I guess, late April last week. So now we're in the first week of May. This is the time that May is a crazy month. Tests, AP exams, IB exams, SATs again, ACTs June. Schools have finals. You're preparing for the summer. It's been a long year. Stuff. I need families to understand that stuff and still not shy away from it and still expect that your school counselor is going to do a few things or clarify a few things for you. So I'm going to go over what you should know now without your school counselor, right? So I'm going to tell you how you need to communicate with your school counselor. But right now, junior parents, class of 2027, I want you to think about this. When is your child taking the ACT or SAT? When are the teacher recommendations due? You need to be asking teachers this spring. When should you start writing your personal statement? Very, very important. And what are your summer visit plans? Okay. I didn't go into what you're doing this summer and you do an internship or job. We're not going to go down that route. That's not for everyone. But what is for everyone is standardized testing. Unless you've already predetermined that you're going into this process without standardized testing, that's your prerogative. But I need you to know that that could possibly limit some school options and some scholarship opportunities. So I would prefer that you at least take the test. And if you don't submit it, so be it. But you need to go into this summer, spring, summer, fall, knowing what the timeline is for SAT and ACT. That's number one. When are your teacher recommendations due? That's number two. Your school should have told you by now, parents, told your kids that teachers are expecting to be asked about recommendations by a certain time. And I need your kid to adhere to those rules and those regulations, those policies and procedures, and ask the right teachers, usually two for selected private schools, to complete their recommendations in a timely manner. Okay. So, whatever that communication needs to be between parent, child, and teacher needs to happen ASAP in order for the teacher to, again, get the recommendation prepared for the student early in the fall. There's some kids applying to colleges in July and August. I usually some of our kids apply in August, absolutely. Um, Teachers aren't obligated to do that to adhere to your timeline, but I do believe it's a great courtesy to ask them this month, now, this week, because you want to make sure that you're on a short list of kids and that your teacher isn't writing a recommendation for everyone. Okay. Once you start writing the personal statement, I don't think May's that time. I think that right now there's just so much going on that you need to allow your kid to take June to brainstorm, July to write, and August to revise. So that is my ask. June to brainstorm. I know the school year would be over, but it's good to toss around some ideas. If you stumble upon this and you need a resource for that, DM me, essay guideline. I have a parent essay guideline that I'm happy to share. June, you can toss around some ideas about the personal statement. All the personal essay prompts are on the Common Application already, so that is done. You can see what they are. July, I do think, maybe right after 4th of July weekend, it feels a little celebratory, that kids can really start talking to their computer, letting it dictate, putting fingers to keyboard, however they're choosing to do it. And yes, there are some AI tools that I stand by enough that you should be using for brainstorming and for proofreading essays. And I think that kids can use July to generate responses for the personal essay, to generate responses to the supplemental essays if necessary. And that allows August then to revise these essays because it is critical that students revise essays in preparation for them to be submitted the applications in September and October. So again, August write, excuse me, June brainstorm, July write, August revise. That way in September and October, as you go into the fall, it doesn't feel rushed. That's very, very important to me that parents and students don't have anxiety going into their senior year because there's been some procedural steps ahead of time. Okay. So June brainstorm, July write, August revise. All right. That's what you can control. You can control the summer visit plans. Are you guys going to visit some schools? Again, ideally, visiting schools doesn't happen over the summer, but again, maybe the only time that you have. And you may be visiting family and you want to visit a campus that you've heard about, or you're going to visit early in the fall, in late August, early September before school really kicks in. Whatever it may let's be thinking ahead about how that works. Okay. Again, I stand 10 toes down on cost, location, major, and career. I need you to ask your school counselor to stand 10 toes down on that as well. What are the schools my kids should be applying to based upon our financial situation in which we're applying for financial aid? What are some of the resources that you have to help us to navigate that process around financial aid? We can figure out the geography if you tell us what the schools are you're recommending are, the location, and what opportunities there may be in that location, what majors they have. We can go online if you need resource on how to uh, register for schools, or excuse me, research schools, view schools, tour schools online. Please go to our YouTube page. I've profiled colleges for you. If you would like one to be profiled, please send me a DM and I'm happy to do it. Um, and the career. So again, school counselors for the class of 2027 should be pointing you in the right direction for what schools your kids should be applying to in less than 6 months. Okay. So I need that to be top of mind as you go into May to make sure that the school counselor is giving you some direction on where to apply and why. Parent, I'm going to leave that up to you. And I need you to know that a lot of families come to us with a lot of anxiety around this process regarding the college list, regarding the college essay, regarding the structure. How do we kind of structure and strategize all this? And that's natural. It's a natural roller coaster of the process. But if you go into this summer with a tentative 65, 75% plan, it's a lot easier to execute on the back end. So please, please, please Expect that the school counselors can give you a list of schools in which they, to their understanding, your kid is applying that they've recommended. Expect that they've given you, you know, some information about their timelines and procedures and protocols and what they're expecting. And in a perfect world, we'd love to connect with you if you get your kid's transcript, right? If you're going to get your kid's transcript at end of junior year, end of sophomore year, I think that's an opportunity to get another opinion about the college list, which we're happy to give you. So there's many, many things that can happen over the next several months, but I want parents to really focus on making sure that you have a college list. I think parents, you can help your kid to structure their time for their essays. That's not necessarily incumbent upon the school or the school counselor in particular, or even the English teacher. Some schools kind of delegate the college essay writing to English classes. I feel different ways about that, but that's not for me to tell you not to do. But I do believe the school counselor who has the historical data about what kids get into what schools and why based on grades and scores, that has gotten to know you and your kid through a questionnaire or transcripts and standardized testing, has an idea of what your kid may be looking for in a college. These are the things that I'm hoping will, kind of engage you and the school in a certain way. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I'm just gonna stay here. Stay locked in. And I want you to make sure that the school counselor is helping you with that. On our website, Strategic Admissions Advice, I've written a blog about this, about what you should be asking your school counselor to do. Happy to have a free conversation with you. We have someone who'll handle that with a discovery call. I'm not here to sell you the discovery calls unless I'm asking you to check in with your school counselor and understand what they need to be doing for you at this time. Again, the blog is on strategicadmissionsadvice.com. It's an opportunity for you to understand what information we share with parents about how to navigate this process with your school counselor. There's so much that can be happening for the next 90 days, right? We got May, June, and July. We'll go into August. And I do think that to alleviate some of the emotional roller coaster stress that this process usually entails, parents, I'm asking you to get ahead of this. So, communicating with your school counselor, understanding that they should be giving you a school list for your kid. They should be sharing the transcript with you as the final transcript for the junior year, maybe even have the senior year courses. They should at least understand or share with you how they, if they engage with the essay process. Um, and then what their procedures and timelines are. Like, when are they expecting to engage with you and engage with their kid over the next several months for certain benchmarks of the process, right? We call them milestones or benchmarks of the process. You want to understand what their policies and procedures may be. So, parents, I am asking you to get involved. I'm asking you to watch this video and share with your kid. I'm asking you to pass it off to your friend, your fraternity brother, your sorority sister, who also has kids going through the process. These things have changed. And if you, parent, don't adjust your lens of this and whose responsibility is what, school counselor, parent, kid, it could get easy. So we got to triage some of this, right? Who's doing what in order to get the kid to where they want. And in my opinion, the goal is to have college choices, and the sooner the better, right? If your kid can apply to a school that is rolling admission and they can get into a school in, September, October, I think you're winning. If you want to apply to a school early action, early decision, you get into a school by December, I think you're winning. This process does not reward those who wait until March of 2027. It is a long, hard road. And while everyone's situation is different, I do think it's fair that you can expect to know what the process entails as per your school, right? So that is my ask of you, is for you to engage with your school counselor, understand what they want from you. You can go to our website, strategicadmissionsadvice.com, go to our blog and get an understanding of what you could or should be asking your school counselor. I'm also back on TikTok, folks. Strategic Admissions ADV. Um, Advice didn't have the whole word, but all that said, again, questions, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether on TikTok, IG, I'm here for you. I'm here to share what I know that so that you can have a successful process. And I believe that begins with information, which you should be gathering from your school counselor. So I'm going to take a quick peek to make sure that this looked okay on YouTube. All right. Uh, did it stop at all? Let's see. No, I think it went live. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Look at that. All right. So again, we're here to help. Strategic Admissions Advice. Thank you for watching this. Whether you're watching it on repeat, you're watching it live, maybe. Want to engage. I want to make sure that you feel that you are supported and understand how to navigate this process. Just raise your hand and we'll jump right in. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll be back next Wednesday. Talk about another topic that's important. Um, and we'll make sure that we continue to connect with you should you reach out to us. Is that fair? All right. Okay. I think we're good. I'm going to slowly turn this off because I know that there's a delay so that you can then not get cut off. All right. I'm learning YouTube and we'll go from there. Oh, bro, I think if you want to apply, oh, look at that. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Let me see. That there's a delay so that you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.